with Bava Metzia.
The 6th of August, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Is the issue whether he paid it off or not paid it off? No, the issue is that he's claiming that he gave her a second ksuba, and therefore don't give her this ksuba that was found, because that was the first ksuba. That the only reason that I gave her a second one is because she lost the first one, and now you're going to give her back one, so now she's going to have two. So the question is are we gonna believe this guy? I mean, it's not. We're not really believing the guy. We're not believing him. But what we're doing is we're saying is that we entertain the possibility that such a thing happened, and therefore we're not gonna give it back.
Rabbi, let me ask you a question. If by law a woman comes to Beis Din and says, "Listen, I've lost my ketubah. We had a flood in the house. A lot of stuff got damaged," they will now make the husband come to court. It mentioned if the woman lost a ketubah, the husband may have drafted another one as required by law. So any woman could say, "I lost it" when she didn't. Have one drafted by law in front of the Beis Din. She gets it. Now she still has two. One that was done by the Beis Din, and one she can go to another town where they don't know her and claim it again. A defrauding woman, it seems like, could always pull this, no? If she legitimately lost it, and he gave her a second one, and somebody says, "I found it," the one they find, they're going to know the difference between the original, which wouldn't be by Beis Din, be by two witnesses at the wedding, and then the other one would be with three judges signing it, a big stamp, Katharian, Tzvat, Tel Aviv, Beis Din, and they would say, "Okay, the one you found, sir, looks to be like a second one." He says, "Yep, that was the second one I gave my wife, and she lost it." That one, I would say, absolutely goes to the woman, because the Beis Din issued it to the woman. She should have it. If she was holding on to the first one, we'll never know that, but the Beis Din thought her honest enough to say, "Let's give her a second one." If it was an unstarred one, and he said, "No, I went to the Beis Din and I had it drawn up," it would be simple to say the Beis Din says, "Yes, we remember on this such and such a day we did. What did you find?" "Well, I found the original." You don't have to give it to her. She's got the second one. Unless she comes to court and says that one. It's confusing, because now I understand. I would think if by law he has to give her a second one, which means Beis Din, wouldn't it be a different impression than, first of all, it would be on a date after their wedding, as opposed to the one that she originally got the date of the wedding, no? Shtar is drawn up on August 5784, that she was married in 5774, that's 10 years earlier. And it says this is a Beis Din copy of the ketubah, and here's the amount. It's just making up for it. Can't you tell the difference between the second and the first by date?
So what's your question? Can't the Beis Din
Well, the one that was found, if it was from the original marriage, it should be the date of the marriage and signed by two witnesses, not by a Beis Din. And if the Beis Din if he had to draw up a second one, I think it looks a little different. First of all, it's a different date of when it was signed. That 10 years ago, this couple got married, and here's the ketubah, signed Judge Yitzi, Avram, and Yaakov. Okay, which one did the guy find? If he found the second one, I would say return it to the woman. Why? Because they made it up, assuming she lost the first. They thought her worthy enough to give it to her. I would say that's the one you should return. If it was the first one without it, and he says, "Wait, I gave her a second one. We went to Beis Din. This must be the original one she lost. Of course, don't give it to her. Give it to me. Let me rip it up." How do you know this? I wouldn't hand it over to him, but I would make sure we go to the Beis Din in spot and say, "You judges have this on file?" "Yes, we do. We gave her a second one 5 years ago. Oh, this is the original? Thank you. Give it to us in the Beis Din. We'll put it in our files. This should not be on the streets, and definitely she doesn't get it." because she could travel with two of them to two different courts and collect on her husband twice after he died. I mean,
yeah, the issue in this brisa is whether we're choshesh for the fact that the Baal did give a second star. There's no doubt that the first star that was found is there's no issue on the validity of that first star. That's not
the
the
one
issue.
that was found, then the Gemara doesn't speak of which one was found. Would you at least give me that? Yes, it would be, if I had both of them in front of me.
No, not at all. It was the star that was lost is now found.
The first one, the one that she got the day she was married.
Yeah, and the Baal is claiming that he gave her a second one in the meantime because she lost the first one.
Wasn't the second one drawn up in front of a three-man Beis Din to say, by law, here is the replacement lady? I would go to that Beis Din to see if the guy's telling the truth. If they said, yep, we absolutely gave her one. Okay, here you go, husband, take the first one. You don't need it. She doesn't need it. She's got the second one.
Okay, so you want to know how come we don't go? How come we have to wonder about whether this second star was given? Don't we have any proof of it? Okay, that's a good question.
I saw the words "wait till Eliyahu comes" in an earlier page on this. That the Beis Din, that the Chachamim said what? It said for ketubah payment become due only upon termination of marriage. Hence, if a married woman's ketubah is found, we should assume she's still unpaid.
Okay.
Why doesn't it say just say until Eliyahu? I'm agreeing in this case, and not if it's the first, but if there are two in the street, it seems like, oh, we can reveal this one. Where did you have it drawn up? Such and such. Let's go ahead. Very good. If the star that was found said Beis Din Tzfat, so she lost the second one too. Now we have a problem. I think it should go to her, but I would say bring her in front of a Beis Din, make her put her hand on something and make a vow and say, okay, and they'll write her a third one. But I'm curious, the Gemara doesn't. Would there not be a difference? My question is there not a difference between the original on the marriage date and if his wife lost it and said, honey, bunny, I need a star. I lost my ketubah in the flood. I remember, honey. I was there helping you take all the wet papers out of your pen. Let's go to Beis Din and get a second one. Would you not at least, wouldn't the Gemara know there's a difference between these two ketubahs, one written on the day of and one written 10 years later and signed by three judges? Because if it's the second one by the Beis Din, I think she should get it. Who cares what the husband says? You gave her the second one, great. It's the second one, obviously. It's not the it says here.
No, but he's saying the only reason he gave the second one is because she lost the first one. He doesn't want her to have two ksuvas. Why should?
You're saying that they're unidentifiable. Both of them are said on the same, even though it sounds illegal to me for the Beis Din to say it. They signed a piece of paper that said in 5764 she was married, and they dated it 5764, even though it's really 5784. 20 years later, they backdated it because it should look the same as the original ketubah. I would think the Beis Din would say no. They got married in 5764. We know the family. We know the couples. We've got.
I'm not sure what your question is. The question over here, the Gemora's question seems to be that we don't know whether this second ksuba was written. And the question is whether we're right. Who has the ksuba right now? It was given to the wife. The wife has it, but she's not going to bring it out. But the husband is saying, "I gave her a second ksuba."
Right. So don't give her this first one.
Don't give her this first.
But it seems easy as peasy as pie.
How are we going to prove? That second one was given?
By finding out which Beis Din he went to get that second.
He doesn't have any proof. The witnesses went to China.
The Beis Din.
He doesn't have the document. He gave it to the wife.
Well, he had two wandering minstrels. So that's why I asked. I thought by law, since he's supposed to give a replacement, I thought law meant Beis Din, and I thought the Beis Din didn't all go on a trip and take off. But if you're saying,
but incidentally, what validates the star? I mean, the deraisa, is two witnesses, not
On the
not the
original.
people on the Bezdin. The Bezdin are only the Bezdin
Wait.
are writing a henpick if the in a case of a loan document.
On
But
the original, I'm agreeing. What I'm not agreeing is whether, even if not a base dean, two schnooks walking by that had keepers on their head, and you could see that they put on tefillin today on their left arm. Please witness this document. Very good. And could you date it 20 years ago? No. I'm a kosher Jew. I'll put today down. As far as I'm concerned, you two look married. You married? Yeah, you married? Yeah, well, they both told me they're married. I'm signing that they both said that they were married, and he's got to give a 5,000 twos if he throws her out or when he dies. Bye. And the two disappear to China. But that document would absolutely not be dated the date of their marriage. I'm asking that question. The second document cannot be dated the date of the wedding. Would you agree to that?
We don't Rafael Aryeh, listen. If we had the document in front of us, then that would be the end of the story. The Bryce is talking about a case where we don't have any evidence of the documents.
You do. The guy found a ketubah. The ketubah that was found. I'm asking, does that one have the date of the wedding?
Oh, the question is whether there's a second one. There's not a question on the one. The question is the one on the second one. The husband is saying that the second one was written.
Okay.
And don't give her back this one. Because the only reason I gave her the only reason I gave her the second one is because this one that was now found was lost.
So this one has to be the original one on the date they were married. You answered my question. This one has to be the date they were married. The one that she lost, you found. And I wrote her another one. Don't give it to her. And who did you have? Two schnooks, wandering minstrels. They died.
You can ask the question, how come he can't prove? You can ask your question, how come he can't prove that he gave this second ksuba to her? He can't prove that. If he could prove it, then that's the end of the story. Then we're certainly not going to give the first one back to her. But what about a case where the guy can't prove it? That's what this Bryce is talking about.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, we got some time left. We got 4 minutes left.
Wait a minute, Rabbi. Stay two books. There's a ritzvah on the bottom of my page. Can I read it?
Yeah.
Rav Yossi maintains that if the husband drafted a second ketubah document, he would have done so publicly in Beis Din. Thus, if the public is unaware of a second ketubah, we dismiss the possibility that one may exist. It's only a red flag.
Oh, okay.
Where it goes.
No, see what we're discussing right now, the opinion of the Rabbanan. Right. The Rabbanan are of the opinion that we're chayshinen, that we are concerned and we entertain the possibility that even though he doesn't have any proof, and even though there wasn't any call that went out in the Bezdin where he claims to have had this document drawn up, nevertheless we're choshesh that there's a second star. That's the opinion of the Rabbanan. And Rabbi Yossi argues in this price. Rabbi Yossi says, no, we're not choshesh for that. We're not choshesh for a second star. Ksuba.
Okay. I'll have to flash you. What should I call it? I toasted it.
Let me mute myself.
What? English. Sour.
Okay. All right. So
we don't do that small little toast post on the right, do we?
Which Dibra Baskel? Oh, Chashidin l'shtei ksubas. Yeah, okay. Let's see what his Tosfos say. Chashidin l'shtei ksubas. Ubalav epoch lo chayish l'shtei ksubas. Im came Oda takas bala amayak zir leisha kashena bal moda. Okay, so let's translate the words of Tosfos, and then we'll see if we have some understanding of what he's saying.
You want me to go for it?
Tosfos
Okay.
Divrei Maskil is Chayshinan. So he's going according to the Mandomar who says Chayshinan, which according to Ravina is not Rabbi Yossi like we have in the it's the Rabbanan. Rabbanan are the ones that are Chayshinan. Okay, so Tosfos says V'olav epuch loy motzi leukma lo motzi leukma, unless we're going to say like Ravina says that got to switch around the opinions in the first brisa of the ordinary loan document, shtarchov, b'lav epuch, lo motzi leukma. We wouldn't be able to establish the Rabbi Yossi. We wouldn't be able to establish it. The Rabbi Yossi chayish l'shtei ksuvas. We wouldn't be able to maintain that Rabbi Yossi is the one who holds that we are chayish, that we are concerned for the possibility that two ksuvas were written. Why not? Deim came, because if that would be so, so then Oda takas bala, if in the case that if in the event that she is still takas bala, she's still married, if so, amayak isha, why would we give it back to the wife? Kishe'ena bal moda, because the Baal is not moda. The Baal is not moda. To what is he not moda? He's not moda, meaning to say, if we're going to take the way that we understood Rashi to say, Rashi said that what it means over here, that when the Ein Baal moda is not referring to the issue of that he paid it, but it's referring to this issue of the two ksuvas.
Right.
What he's saying is he's not moda that this ksuva that was found should be given back to the wife. Why? Because he's saying I wrote her another one in lieu of this ksuva that was lost. So I'm not moda that this one should give it back. Should be given back to her. Don't give it back to her. So if she's still married, why would the din be to like it says in the brisa, to give it back? And that's what it says in the brisa that Manda Omar says. If she's still married, we give it back to her, no? Rabbi Yossi said, Oda takas bala, yaksila isha. If she's still married and she hasn't yet been divorced, in other words, yaksir. So give back, we would give, Rabbi Yossi would say, you give back the shtar ksuba to the isha. Why you give it back? Because according to Rabbi Yossi, you wouldn't, you don't. Even though Rabbi Yossi is not chayish lepiroyan, but still, it's not likely that he paid the ksuba before its time, before the gerushin. Why should he do that? Rabbi Yossi doesn't hold. Rabbi Yossi is not choshesh for the possibility that like the previous answer, we answered an answer that no, he gave it to her. What was it called? He gave it to her. What did we call that? I forgot what we called that right now. Okay, but okay, so this Tosus is if you're following what Tosus is saying, then you're doing better than me because he's in a even though this is a very short Tosus, it's filled with cheshbon, and I have to take a look at it again, and we don't have any more time for that right now. So we're on our way out over here. So we're saved by the bell. Okay. So maybe we'll take a look at this Tosus again tomorrow. Because it does, you're right, it does look like a very worthwhile Tosus to understand. In the meantime, we'll say goodbye to everybody. All the best. Yashikoyach. Alan and Rafal Arya and Phil and Lou. And Rafur Shlema to Roy and his Rebbitzin, Bez Hashem.
Yeah. Good. She came yesterday. 4 o'clock. Lou, you there?